Hi everybody, Laura here. I thought today I would share with you some of my books that were some of my favorites. No, it's not in any particular order besides the three that were my favorites of the year so far, but the other ones are just, they might not be like the highest score. Like it might be, like there might be other books that are, that are higher, but these are just what I want to talk about. And there was three that I really, really loved that were like 6 stars, which you guys know I started because I've Beautiful Bookish Bethany does that. Like if she thinks it's going to be a book that's going to be a favorite of the year, she'll give it 6 stars. So yeah. So we'll talk about the two that first that, that might not be like this one I think I gave 4 or 4.5 star, but I really, really enjoyed it. And I wanted to have at least one middle grade in here. Yes, I gave it 4.5. So yeah. So this is like books I read like in January, February, and March. So yeah. This one I read, I have it written down here, so I will tell you. This one I read March 9th. I started March 9th and I finished on March 15th. This one, like I said, I just wanted to mention this one, even though there's other books that got like 5 stars. That, but this one was a young adult one, so I wanted, or a kid, more like a kid's one, so yeah. And this one was really good. This one, where they're twins, and he's a, ice wolf, and usually, like, if there's twins, or just family members in general, usually they are the same, they turn into the same thing. But in this case, he turned into an ice wolf, and his sister, turns into a scorch dragon, or a dragon, whatever you want to say. And she gets taken, and he is on the hunt to find her. And he goes with the other wolves, basically the other people that are wolves, the pack, whatever you want to say. He goes with them because he wants to find out what he can about where his sister might be at. It was really good. I loved the friendships he made in this book. I loved him and his sister in the beginning, because you don't get a whole lot of the sister because, she was taken, so of course. But what we got of them together, I really liked. I liked that he was the one that was more able to control her. Like, she has more of a temper than he did. He was more like, let her, like, kind of take over in a certain sense, but yet, but he could control her, even though he let her, like, take over. You know what I mean? It was just really good. So I really liked that one. This one, I really, really love still, but I was surprised that I didn't give it like a 5 or a 6, because I love this person so much, and that's Nikolai, and that's King of Scars. I took the jacket off. This one I love, don't get me wrong, but there was just stuff in it that wasn't quite what I wanted for the book. Like, I felt like, this ain't a spoiler to me, but because you guys might felt like he got plenty of screen time, but I don't feel like, for it being his book, Nikolai's book, I don't feel like it was that he had a lot of screen time, if that makes any sense. I felt like, why did I forget their names? Not Gia, Zoa, how do you say her name? I can never pronounce her name, and I don't have the cover on here, so I can't find the name, but you know who I'm talking about. If you read the Gershu, Zoa, however you say her name. I felt like her and Nina had more of a role than Nikolai did. And that's what kind of made me a little upset, and why it was cut down, like it wasn't a 6 star or even a 5 star, because I just wanted more of Nikolai. I felt like that, to me, the ending should have been a lot more with Nikolai, and I just felt like the girls like overpowered him in this book. Like they got a lot more screen time. I know a lot of people were upset. I'm not going to say what happens at the end, but a lot of people were upset by the ending. I loved it. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, you guys will be surprised that I loved it so much, because you guys know how well, I can't say because it'll be a spoiler, but you know, people I dislike and that I did like in the Gersha universe, you know, in the Shadow of Bone series. So, yeah. So, yeah. But it was still really good. I love the parts that we did get of Nikolai. Like, oh my gosh, his part was my favorite. I was bored with Nina's part. That's another reason. I wish it would have been more of Zoa, how you say her name, and Nikolai. And I think it would have been a 6-star, a favorite of the year. But it was still really, really good. Like, really, 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 really good. This one, I started February 21st and finished it on February 23rd. So it didn't take me very long to read it, but I just wanted a little bit more. And then I got 3 other ones. All these other ones are 6 stars, so they're going to be favorites of the year. The first one, I'm not going like in order of January, February, March. I'm just going whatever book I grab. Like this I read last month, Unwind by Neil Schusterman. I believe it was last month. It's been I don't remember very well, like, when I read certain things. Some I remember, and others I'm like, nope, I don't remember. Yeah, it was last month. I started this one on the 22nd and finished it on the 23rd, so you know I loved it if I finished it in a day. This is where, in this world, between the ages of 13 and 18, your parents can have you what is called unwind, where basically you get killed. They like take your cells and things, like different things, like they could take part of your brain if it's still good and put it into somebody else's brain, you know. So basically they what's that word? Your body parts, you know what I mean? I forget what it's called. Let me see if it tells you on here. Organs. So basically they take all their organs and then they transplant it into other people. And this one was so good. I mean, it was like, once it started, like, really getting into action, it did not quit. It was so good. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, I just, like, went through it, as you can tell with the colors. I mean, I just love this book. I mean, it took a little bit. It took, like, to page 50 to 100 to really go. But once it went, I mean, it was, like, nonstop. I mean, things happened in this book, especially the ending, that were, like, nuts, and I was not expecting it, and I was sad but hopeful, and yeah, it was just, oh my gosh. It was everything I wanted in a book. And I don't know what it is about Neil Schusterman, but, like, I'm a big fan of his. I'd probably buy any book that he has. As a matter of fact, there's other books I do want that is in his, that he has, that I just haven't had money to buy yet, but I would love to buy them. I have the other ones. I'm hoping to read them in the next couple of months where I can see if it's just this book or if it's going to be all the books that I loved. I did start the second one, but I had to put it down because of readathons and other things, but I definitely want to get back into the world probably in June. But yeah, I really, really love this. Like I said, I love the characters. I love Connor. I love Rissa, and I always forget, Leave. I loved them all. Leave is the youngest. He's the one that was like, he knew from when he was really, really little that his parents just had him for the very reason of using his organs. And it's interesting to find out, like once he gets away from his family, how different things change for him. Very, very interesting. I just loved it. And then another one, I think I read this one in January, The Disasters by M.K.England. Oh my gosh. So this is about these group of kids that they got basically kicked out of the school. It's like a space school, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Well, anyways, they get kicked out, and just as they're getting ready, just as they're leaving, the place gets attacked or something. I can't remember exactly, but they wind up getting blamed for it, and they have to basically escape. I mean, you know, like go on the run and clear their names, and a lot of things happen in this book that just was like, okay, cool. Like, all right, yeah, really? Like, oh my gosh, really, really good. Yeah, I started this one on the 26th of January, and I finished it on the 26th of January, so I finished it in one day. This book was amazing. Amazing book for me. It might not be for everybody, but oh my gosh, I just like was in love from the world and everything. It was just like the world. I don't know how to explain this world, but it was just so interesting. The characters I loved. I loved the relationships in this one. I was like really torn because if I'm not mistaken, the guy is the main guy. I forget his name. Nax, or how do you say his name? He's bisexual, and I was like torn between. The author did like a real good job because I was torn between if I wanted him to be with the guy that he was falling for or the girl. I could see what points in both of theirs, but I think that the guy, I can't remember his name, but he was probably just a little bit more who I liked. But the girl, I could see why he would like have feelings for both of them, even though the girl is a lot different than the guy. But hey, you know, but maybe that's why he had such broad feelings for each of them. But I really liked it. I liked how everything was wrapped up in the book. It was just fun. It was just a fun read. It was something that wasn't too crazy. You know, it wasn't real violent, but it wasn't boring. Yeah, it was really, really good. I just had a ball with this. And the last one is Echo North by Joanna Ruth Mayer. This is like a retelling of between Beauty and the Beast, but what is that other one? I forget the other one that it's really about. But I've never read the other fairy tale that they were talking about. The other one is East of the Sun and West of the Moon. I've never read that, so I don't really know, but that's what this one's more about than Beauty and the Beast. But this was so good. Like, oh my gosh. It was just a really good take on Beauty and the Beast. The parts that were based on Beauty and the Beast, because it was basically more both, like I said, based on the other one, but it had a lot of the feel of Beauty and the Beast. Like the library, you know, the books and everything. The Beast was interesting, just like in Beauty and the Beast. I thought the Beast was really interesting. I mean, this one, I loved the world, I loved the characters. This one was like, wow. I wasn't expecting to like this one as much as I did, because usually Beauty and the Beast retellings are, you know. But this one, like, the characters just made me laugh. But at the same time, I was like really worried for them. I really wanted the Beast, you know, to survive and everything, you know. Yeah. I liked that it wasn't all really Beauty and the Beast, though. I don't know, maybe the parts that I really liked was more for the Sun and the Moon one, but I like the ending, like the twist with the Beast. I'm not going to tell you what the twist was because that would be spoiler, but I loved it. I just thought it was a really interesting book. I loved her family. The only one I didn't like was her stepmother. But everybody else I really loved. I loved her brother. I loved her dad. Her dad was awesome. Just like in Beauty and the Beast, how the dad is awesome. I loved the Beauty and the Beast. The Beauty and the Beast dad in the movie. I just love how absent-minded he is. Even though this guy wasn't so absent-minded. Maybe he was more like the dad in the other one. I don't know anything about the other book, so I wouldn't know. But I just thought this was very, very interesting. It just was what I was needing at the time, and I didn't know I needed it. This was from Beacon, I believe. I think it was Beacon's book, and it was, oh my gosh. It's probably my favorite book so far that I've read from a book box, which is really a good, like, interesting. It took me a while to read this one because I really wanted to take my time. I was so invested in the world, but it was one of those ones that you're so invested because you're taking your time and you're really enjoying it and you just don't want the book to end. That's how this book was. I just did not want it to end at all. I was just like, oh my gosh, if I could like made it last longer, I would have, just because I didn't want to leave the world. These are the kind of books I like where you don't want to leave the world. That you just want to stay in the book. And you want to pick it up. Like, I want to really reread this already. But I have so many other books I need to read. But all these books I will definitely want to reread. Because, oh my gosh, they all, like, took me somewhere that I wanted to be. Even if some of them might not have took me quite where I wanted to be. It took me enough that I was happy. Which was not Six of Crows, sorry. Which was King of Scars. I mean, it took me where I wanted to go, but just not quite there. I needed more Nikolai, and it would have took me exactly to where I wanted to be. Like, oh yeah. But this one was one of my favorites. If I have to pick out of these 5, though, I would say Unwind was my favorite. So far, this is going to be the favorite of the year. Of course, I got a lot of other books, a lot of other months to go. I do have a couple of books from this month that are 6 stars, so spoiler alert for my wrap-up. I'm not going to tell you what the books are, but you probably can guess if you've, listened to me talk about them during the Owls. But this one is going to at least be in the top 10 of my favorites of the year. I'm probably going to have a lot because I already have 5 books that are like 6 stars, and we're only in April. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited to see how the next couple of months go before I do another one of these and tell you what some of my favorites are for, April, May, and June. And then we'll do July, August, September, and then we'll do October, November, December, and January. That's how I'm going to do it, probably. Or I might do half for like September. I might do just like 1/2 of something like that. I don't know. I'll work it out. But 1 month is going to be 4 months instead of just 3. So, yeah. I think that would be right, wouldn't it? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, wait a minute. That's every 3 months. Okay. So next month. So for this month, April, May, June. And so at the end of June, I'll have a wrap up. So at the end of September, I'll have a wrap up. And then, of course, December, before I do my absolute favorite of the year, we'll do a wrap-up of just for that quarter, the last 3 months. So, yeah. But this one was, out of the 5 that I talked about today, this one was definitely my favorite because, oh my gosh, it was just like, oh my gosh, like the world, the characters, that ending, I mean, oh my gosh, it just was so awesome. I'm so glad that I decided to get all these books, that I got this book. I know it took me a while to read it because I bought it like a long time ago, like at least 8 to 10 months before I actually read it. So I've had it for a while, and I'm so glad it finally was like, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it because, oh my gosh, it was awesome. It was definitely worth the wait because I don't know if I would have liked it maybe 10 months ago, whatever it was that I got it. But yeah, really, really good. And that's it. Let me know. Question of the day is, let me know what your favorite books were this year so far. If you have to pick 5, which would be your favorite your 5 favorite books. And it doesn't have to have the, you know, like me, like some of mine like were some books that I really liked were like 5 stars, but I just wanted to show you some of the other ones that weren't quite there but were still favorites. So let me know something like that, like what was like a 4.5 star or a 4 star if you don't do like me where you know, pick out 6 ones. Let me know what like 3 of your what your favorites were, like 5 stars, and let me know what 2 of your favorite, like either 4 or 4.5 star was. Something like that. And yeah, I think if I can find 5 books that were my least favorite, I will be doing a video about that. I know I have at least 2. Well, one of them I can't do this month because, I mean, yeah, I can't do the least favorite right now because I read it this month. So I don't really have as many that were like as really disappointing to me. There's a couple that were like 3.5s, which aren't really bad, but I didn't hate them. They just felt a lot shorter than like King of Scars, like I said. This one was just a couple of things that made it not be my absolute favorite, but you know. So something like that. Like there's some that I still enjoyed, but they just weren't quite there, so I gave them like a 3.5 star. So yeah, I might try to find that, but I do have at least 1 or 2 that were really I couldn't stand. And one of them you should know if you remember any of my you know, wrap ups. There was a couple that were really like, so yeah. Actually, I know of a few that I can probably use as disappointments. So I think I don't know if I'm going to come up with 5, but there might just be 3 that disappointed me, that are really, really disappointed me. But yeah, once I figure that out, then I'll be back with another video telling you some of my most disappointed reads of the first 3 months of this year. Alright, remember, if you like this video, thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. If you do subscribe, remember to hit that beautiful bell icon so you'll know whenever a video like this of mine is up for your viewing pleasure. And yeah, I will talk to you guys all later. Remember, if you ever need anything, I am here. I love you guys. I always try to comment as soon as I possibly can if you comment on my post. Yes. Mwah. Bye for now.